It was 2018. I just turned 28. Little backstory, I've been struggling with alcohol addiction for most of my 20s, a little bit, in high school or whatever. And then I had been sober for a couple months before I actually lost my hand, was doing good, and then, fell off the wagon, as they say, had picked up drinking again. That night, actually, I'd been drinking probably for about a full 24 hours, like partying the whole night before, and then there was the next day. For some reason, I had a quarter stick of dynamite in my garage attic, and in my drunken stupor, I thought it was a good idea to kind of go up there and like, hey, let's go across the field from my house and blow this off. And then I got the dynamite and went across the street. There was this big field. I thought it was a safe area to blow this off. I remember looking back to the stick of dynamite didn't have like a wick to it. It was very short. And I'm thinking like, well, I don't know, just being so drunk and not really thinking it through, knowing it was a bad idea. I lit it and instantly it went off, no time to throw it. Pretty much blew my entire hand off at that moment. I remember being told at the hospital that I kind of had like a part of a thumb and a little bit of a pinky left, and there was no sense in trying to save any of it. This wasn't the first time I almost died because of alcoholism. With just different stupid things I've done throughout the years, or ended up in the hospital. Like 6 months before that, I had a stroke from drinking so much, and I was like, oh, this is the wake-up call I needed, and I was sober for a few months. So I thought that was going to be kind of how it was when I woke up from the hospital. It wasn't. I was like, I want to drink, because I think it was just so much stress of like, I just lost my hand, this is crazy, I don't know how to cope with this. So I actually continued to drink. The accident was in January. I drank until about April 1st of 2018. And it got bad again too during that period, drinking for days. I was just so overwhelmed with my hand. There's just a way to cope. But April 1st of 2018, I was sitting on my porch with a friend, and we had just bought a case of beer. I drank one, and I was looking at it, and I was like, if you keep drinking, you're gonna die. Like, maybe not tonight, but eventually, like, this is definitely gonna kill you. I don't know, I just, this isn't a good idea, so I didn't drink that night. I didn't drink the next day, didn't drink the next week, and then, I just celebrated 6 years of sobriety from alcohol this past April. Yeah, it hasn't always been easy. There's been times where it's like, I really would like a drink and or things have been going like really well too, and I'm like, it's better now, I could handle it, and that's not how it works. So thankfully, I'm, been able to stay strong and stay sober. Being able to stay sober this long, my biggest motivation has been my children. I got a son and a daughter. My daughter, I think, was like a month old when the accident first happened. So like she was just born, like a few weeks before that happened, which is crazy. And then my son was 4 at the time. A good enough reason for me to stay sober. Also my art, after I got sober and after my accident, things like really took off almost instantaneously. And it's just been upward ever since. So right now we're at my gallery that I own with 2 other friends on the east side of Toledo. It's the River East Gallery. We opened in the winter of 2022, so we opened a couple years now. Real grassroots DIY gallery that we put together for the community. We do big events for different artists. We showcase our own work. We also work with the community. We've also done a lot of murals in this area too. I think it's important of trying to, we're in an area that, some would consider run down, but I believe it's on its way back up. So we're just trying to do our part to, just revive the community. Yeah, so for the Glass City Riverwall, which, for anybody who doesn't know, is the largest mural in the United States, which is located here in Toledo, Ohio. It's also the 2nd largest in the world. We started painting that in the summer of 2021. The way I got involved with that was another local artist who's a good buddy of mine, who kind of got brought on as like the project manager. He reached out to me and see if I wanted to be involved, and I said, of course, I'd like to be. We worked on that the whole summer for 3 months straight, 140 feet up in the air, working on a lift. And I was talking about trying to figure out how to use my left hand and all that with lifts. That was definitely an experience to figure out with using one hand being that high and controlling these crazy machines. But everything came out great, and it was a really good experience to be a part of. When you come from an area like this, like I do, like I'm from this area, from different parts of Toledo that's also, you know, a little rundown. I don't know, people just don't get it and don't really like look too twice at it. They kind of just write you off, and you know, just like my story, I like that comeback story. You know, you didn't really think I was going to be much, but I proved a lot of people wrong, and I don't know, I want to share that with other people too, that it doesn't really matter where you come from or, you know, what happened. You just put the work in, and you know, a lot can come from it. But a couple of years ago, I was finally able to get a prosthetic that could help me like be more active. Like I loved riding my bike and cycling before the accident, and you know, working out, and you know, for a couple of years I couldn't do that safely. So being able to work with, you know, Perry Prosthetics to give me the type of prosthetics that I need to have a physical life was great. I mean, I think it was a blessing, and like Chris Perry showed up the day I woke up from my accident. One of the nurses had called, I think she told me she had called him and said, hey, this guy just lost his hands, you know, what can you come talk to him? We got to talking. I felt very genuine in that he was just trying to help me. You know, and that was over the past 6 years I've been working with them, and it's been nothing but a great experience. You know, if I could talk to anybody right now who's struggling with their own sobriety, who, you know, has been in and out of treatment and has had a little bit of clean time and, you know, relapsed and they just can't figure it out, is like, just don't give up. Try your best to stay sober, because it's so much better. I was definitely one of those people that thought, you know, this is what I'm meant to do with my life, was to drink and do drugs and just make a mess of it. You know, it's what my family did. It's just like, this is what I was meant to do. I don't know, I got stuck in that for about a decade. And thinking back now to where I'm at, I can't believe that, for one, that I ever thought that, or for two, that I could ever come this far. And, you know, I think I have so much far to go, but it's because I got sober that my life has gotten so much better. And it's just, I wouldn't give up anything in the world to change that, or to ever think about going back out again and, you know, relapsing, thinking I could lose this all. It's just, it's not worth it. Don't give up hope. I remember sitting in the hospital, waking up in the hospital, looking at my left hand and seeing that it's gone, you know, wrapped in bandages and everything, and just like, this is just crazy. But like I said, oddly enough, losing my left hand was probably the best thing that's ever happened in my life. And that's just the way I think I have to look at it, because it just motivated me to just try to excel at everything that I could. You know, life doesn't stop because of something traumatic. It's just how we deal with it, you know, that really matters. And like, if I can do it, anybody can.